what it was. Y'all know who it is. And y'all tuned in with Priceless Knowledge of Self. And this ain't shit but a little more cosmic insight, man. And look, man, we got to continue on with these rising signs. And in doing so, to close it out this morning, I was about to say this evening, but this morning is shit's going to get critical. Because this right here, this going to be a little something about those people that have Virgo rising in their natal chart. And before I can even get to them, man, what I have to do first is I'm going to bring y'all a little information on the ascendant or the rising sign in astrology. And then I'm going to give y'all a little breakdown about some of the characteristics and personality traits that come along with being a Virgo ascendant or a Virgo rising. Then after that, what like I always do, pardon me, is I'm going to set the table for you. I'm going to put the houses into place, and I'm going to show you which sign is on which house's cusp, so you kind of see the activation of it all in your chart. So with that being said, man, let's get it cracking. So let me light my shit real quick. So the rising sign or the ascendant, this is the sign that was rising from the east at the exact moment that you were born. And whatever degree that it was at, you know, this is where your first house cup starts. That's why knowing the exact time of your birth is like essential in really accurately interpreting the birth chart, man. You could do it a little bit without it, man, but you need those houses, man, because, you know, with that rising sign, it sets the table. Like I said, it puts the houses into play, which can really tell the story of your life if it's read the right way. You know, it plays a big part, the ascendant, in the big three that consists of the sun, the moon, and the rising or the ascendant. And those three really make up the basis of our personality. So the ascendant, this is how you would come across to others. It's your outward personality. It's the sign that you kind of seem like you are, you know. It also has a lot to do with your appearance in a broad sense. And it's how you carry yourself. It's kind of like when people see you, they're like, that's a Scorpio, or that's a Sagittarius. And, you know, if you don't know anything about rising signs or they don't, you know, you in your head are like, man, I ain't no motherfucking Sagittarius. I ain't no motherfucking Scorpio. But the truth of the matter is that's probably your rising sign. You know, that's the energy that you're projecting. So you'd have to find out what time you were born. And then more often than not, that's kind of what it is. You know, this is the energy that, you know, you're putting out there, man. This is, you know, it's not just what you seem like, man. It is a part of your personality, man. But, you know, it's not you deep down. It's kind of just surface level. Let's kind of say that. And, you know, whatever planet that rules the sign that is your ascendant sign or your rising sign, that's called your chart ruler. And if you want to look to the house placement of your chart ruler, that'll really tell you where, you know, that energy is focused in your life, man. You know what I mean? And once you notice that what your chart ruler is, a lot more things will make sense about you in astrology, man. I promise. Just pay attention, man. Just fuck with me and ask me some questions and I'll lace you up. You know, it ain't no thing. But I would say this. The ascendant is the vehicle that you use to get to the sun sign. And whereas the moon sign is kind of, you know, the engine. So what about Virgo ascendants or people that have Virgo rising? So off top, what I'm going to tell you is these people here are like hygiene heroes and shit who make their way through life carefully, you know, while trying to be meticulously spotless and shit. Yeah. These are purposeful and trustworthy folks that are extraordinarily sensitive to any discomfort or any other signals that their body kind of gives them that shit is out of balance, for that matter. I could say that Virgo ascendants are usually very slim or in superb fucking shape, to say the least, because they're always obsessing with how they look and their health too. A lot of them struggle with insecurities and, you know, constant self-criticism. So they're the type that stay in the motherfucking gym. They stay on a health kick or in a nice little diet regimen. They're extremely health conscious. What else? Because I'm really going in for real. And, you know, they put a lot of energy into perfecting their body. You know, they're also their mind, like they're studious people, you know, and this is kind of a hard bag sometimes, but fortunately, you know, they're all about duty too. And, nobody is going to be willing to put in the work as much. I mean, Capricorn is ambitious with it. They're willing to put all the work in, baby. Taurus too. But nobody's going to be diligent in it and consistent in it and enjoy putting the service in like Virgo, man. You understand? Like the service of self and the service of others, But they usually stay right. And moving on, typically, these can be more quiet. I keep hitting the mic, y'all pardon me. These can be more quiet motherfuckers who kind of often lose themselves in the rhythm of work, and due to their insecurities and tendency to kind of constantly overanalyze shit, they can sometimes be too motherfucking myopic to see that shit is actually going well overall. You know what I mean? So that's a bit sometimes. Like, they get so stuck in them details, so stuck in trying to perfect it, they don't realize that, hey man, this shit is working just fine. It's running smoothly, and you can't, there's just some things that don't need to be improved on. Maybe they can be, in the way that the Virgo is in the season. If it can be improved on, it better be fucking improved on. We're trying to perfect this shit. And even if they say it can't be improved on, get better. And that's kind of what it is, man. With Virgo rising, Mercury is the chart ruler. And, he always brings an extremely abundant amount of nervous and frictious energy, which we talked about in the Mercury series. And so you'll notice that just like Gemini rising, these people here just cannot absolutely seem to sit still at all. They just can't, man. They absolutely can't sit still, man. And the thing is, with Gemini, it's more of a mental thing. But Virgo, it's about the body, the hair. So this is more of a physical. Plus, with it being in the first house, man, it's really gonna need some kind of freaking physical outlet to release that shit, for real. And, these people actually suffer physically when their natural rhythm is out of balance. And when shit is upset, that's kind of why, they're more resistant to major changes than a lot of the other mutable signs are. And because it's Earth, of course, they spend more time worrying than doing anything else in the whole fucking world, man. And when they're confronted with a new situation, it only makes it seem, that much worse to them. Not to mention, they always notice all the freaking details that everybody else overlooks. So that even adds to that dynamic. And when they're stressed the fuck out, man, it really affects their digestive system and shit. So they're going to have to find that outlet for all that energy, or find some kind of peace and balance to quit all that worrying. On another note, though, as I said a little bit about earlier, I touched on a minute ago, these are true perfectionists in every sense of the word, and they do their best shit tending to the motherfucking details and being of service to others, and that's kind of service to their self. And a lot of times they're going to be of service to their self, and they're going to be the people that are always focused on getting their self right, because as soon as they get their self right, they're going to show everybody else how to get that shit done. Like, Virgo is about service. It is so good. A lot of people say it comes with all this shit talking, but they have things that are definite blessings. They're extremely practical too, man. So they're really able to stay grounded in crises as they focus on taking the necessary steps to make sure everything is on point and everybody is straight too. So that's a definite blessing fucking with them. On a side note, they have these extremely scrutinizing eyes, man, that can break you down within a motherfucking split second of seeing your ass. So just know that, they ain't the one to come for on that bullshit, man, because you gonna get your feelings hurt. And just remember that. So to sum it up, their gift comes in understanding how all the little intricacies fit together as one whole, man. And they're geniuses at devising systems that make shit run more efficiently. So that's what's up too. Okay. Now, moving beyond that, what we're going to do now is we're going to set the table, man. And in setting the table, that means we're going to put the houses into place for these Virgo risings, man. So here we go. Or Virgo Ascendant. So The first house, that's everything we just talked about. This is Virgo. It's ruled by Mercury. They're health conscious. They're extremely self-critical and always on their own motherfucking head. Constantly, fixated on bettering themselves, analytical as fuck. But, also hardworking, consistent, real, like they care about you and they'll do anything they can to help you. Yeah, they're gonna talk a little shit, but hey man, they're gonna be there for you like none other. So we already touched on that. The second house, their second house, which it loves to be like this, is Libra, and it's ruled by Venus. And the second house is your possession. It has a lot to do with how you talk too, kind of, but your possessions and what you value and what you place value in. This is the second house, and your money your money situation a little bit. And hey, Venus loves to be here, man. This is at home here, so Libra loves to be here, man. So they value their one-on-one relationships a lot. They could be a beautician or get paid from their own beauty. They probably speak very eloquently, man. They could be models or artists themselves, or get money off the beautiful things they themselves create. Awesome fucking artists, drawers, painters. Like, this is what they do, man. And if they can utilize that, the way that Venus comes through to them and just helps the things they create and their aesthetic process be so beautiful. Venus is about money too. So that right there, that's beautiful, man. That's just almost the same as having Taurus at home right there. Maybe even more so. Yeah, that's lovely. So the third house, this is ruled by Scorpio and Pluto and Mars to a smaller degree, but Pluto. And so they have fucking dark thoughts, and they probably have a deep and complicated relationship with their siblings, maybe a lot of jealousy when they were younger. They didn't do a whole bunch of sharing, and they probably get turned on by intellectual shit, and they probably had a very controlling environment growing up with plenty of family secrets or shit that just wasn't spoken on. You could say that. And so, moving on, man. The fourth house, this is ruled by Sagittarius and Jupiter. And the fourth house is, it's your home environment. It's called your IC. It's, the opposite of your MC, your midheaven, which is your social status. This is the lowest point of the chart, the least visible part. This is kind of at home. The fourth house is a little bit of your mom energy. So this here is, like I said, Sagittarius and Jupiter, and they probably grew up in a very religious household, and or they had a mom that would say whatever was on her motherfucking mind a lot. And she, their mom was probably more like a dad, and they're masculine. And their dad might have been the least dominant parent. That doesn't mean he was feminine or female or gay or anything like that. He just was more laid back than the mom. Like, the mom ran this. And Sagittarius is about the military. So Mars is too, but Sagittarius is too, the high-ranking military officials. So what I'm seeing here is, they could have grew up in a military family, or at least a very religious family that was, church was a must. And they might have moved for a lot, or moved very far when they were kids, and that goes back to that maybe that military household, and maybe dad wasn't there. That could be it. And mom dominated, and they're probably very close to their maternal grandfather, and they learned a lot from him. So there's that. And so the fifth house for them, which is hard for it to be, is Capricorn, and it's ruled by Saturn. And the fifth house, Saturn, Capricorn, it doesn't like to be in the fifth house, man. I can say that. But I would say that they want to see tangible results for their creative ability. They're builders, and whatever they decide to create, they become good at it because they're structured and they take the fucking necessary steps, and they ain't gonna fuck with it unless they're gonna be the best at it. So that's just kind of how it goes for them, man. They're gonna pay attention to those details with that Virgo nature, and make sure that Capricorn fifth house is whatever they're putting their talent into, whatever they create, it better bring back something from it. Well, if it's not fucking money, it better be status or respect. That's real. And so, moving on though, their sixth house is Aquarius. It is ruled by Uranus. And, you know, they just do shit differently than everybody else. It's hard for them to get into a routine, you know. They can't be put into a motherfucking box, and they're not going to allow themselves to be. And, you know, the way that they think is what sets them apart from their fucking enemies, man. They can be innovators in their field, and, you know, they're probably better than everyone else at work at what they do, man. Like, because why? Because they paid attention to the fucking details, and they showed up every day, and they took the necessary steps to be good, to be the best at their fucking job. And then with Aquarius, they're like, when they're at work, man, like, hey, they cool with everybody. They want the company to be good. Like, there's no problems at work, but they ain't personal, man. It ain't personal, man. Let's get it done. And also, like, with their enemies, man, like, they're geniuses, man. Like, they just know how to handle things a whole different way. They're logical in the way that they handle things, especially at work. So, the seventh house, this is Pisces, and it's ruled by Neptune. And they're attracted to dreamers and artists, and they need a relationship that has spiritual substance, man, and a partner that has empathy, man. They like people who can dance too. Like, I could say that Virgo is when they see somebody that can move, like, that's some shit that gets at them. They like that, and they probably like to dance themselves too. Like, they could have met their people dancing like that with Pisces and Neptune, and like, they could have a fairy tale romance if they wanted to, man, if they just could get past the fucking details. So, their eighth house is Aries, and it's ruled by Mars. And they're very private and secretive and protective of their personal power. They have an extremely intense and passionate and carnal and animalistic sexuality, and they absolutely do not trust anybody either. And they're self-sufficient to a T, and their secrets are their secrets. And so there's things about them that they're never going to share with anybody. And so you either got to respect it or check it. Moving on though, their ninth house is Taurus, and is ruled by Venus. And, you know, they gain wisdom from what others have. They love to travel and to beautiful places, and they understand that God is love, and they think that that in itself is a motherfucking epitome of beauty. You know, they can get wisdom from silence, touching. They learn from touching things, from experiencing things, you know. Taurus is about the senses and indulging the senses. So, you know, in the ninth house, they want to experience. So, you know, they have to feel it. You know, it has to mean something to them when they're going out and they're traveling and what they're learning. Like, it has to mean something. And once they do learn it, even though they're slow to take to it, like, it sticks with them forever. It sticks with them forever. So, their 11th house here. Their 11th house is Cancer, and it's ruled by the moon. And what can I say about them, man? Is they're like that little mother or the little nurturer in their little group, or they're very closely tied to their friends and their principles, or, you know, their friends are more like family than their family is, or even vice versa. Like, they don't have a whole bunch of friends. Like, they kick it with their family. That's who they kick it with. Like, they kick it with their immediate family, their kids, or their sister and their mother, like their cousins. Like, they kick it with their people. It could be that. And, you know, they care deeply about society as a whole, man. Like, and the way that they want to help people is through love, man, and by nurturing them and by being there for them on a daily basis. So that's beauty in itself. And so their 12th house, which is crazy, is Leo and is ruled by the sun. And what this says to me is that they have big dreams and they know deep down that they are special and that they are royalty and that nobody is able to bring what I just hit the mic again, y'all. I'm sorry. Nobody is going to be able to bring what they can bring to the table, man. And, you know, they have a lot of fucking self-respect, but, you know, they also can be a little egotistical. They can get stuck in principles that they themselves don't even believe in anymore, man. So, hey, man, it's just what you do with it is what you do with it. But that was a little something about these people that have Virgo rising in their natal chart, or these Virgo ascendants. Yeah. Just remember that you don't have to get stuck in the details, man. You don't have to ignore them either. Just because you built like that don't mean you have to build like that, man. You understand? There's been some priceless knowledge of self, bro. It really has, man. And it's been a pleasure bringing it to y'all, man. Y'all just keep it real, man. If you're interested in the astrological readings whatsoever, you can either hit me up in the comments below or email me at mr.turner1300@gmail.com. Hey, man, I appreciate all the love and support. Y'all see me again Monday, man. You know, when we jump. Damn. When we jump back into the nodes, man. So it is what it is, man. I'm fucking up and I'm tired. So I love all y'all, man. Stay out the way. Keep it real, man. Keep growing. Don't go backwards. Okay? Word to your mother.